Hi there and welcome to WBH TV. I'm Psaila. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking about the 3 reasons you may be finding it hard to run your practice as a practitioner. Now, let me ask you, do you prefer to practice rather than have to run your practice? Now, there's a distinct difference, right? One is practicing the art of healing, regardless of what that may be for you, versus having to run a practice, the business, the numbers, the marketing, the sales, everything that comes with that. Now, are you the type of person that would prefer to just go, you know what, I just want to see patients, and that's really where my mindset's at and where I need to be. Now, let's think about this for a second. It feels like a bit of a duality, right? Because you know yourself, treatment's one thing, but if you don't have a business, you can't treat. So how do you get the best of both worlds? Now, I reckon there's some reasons going on there. And number one usually is, as a practitioner, you've got a practitioner mindset. What seems to be the problems, how can I fix that? They're overweight, they need personal training. They're overweight, nutrition is the answer. Overweight, naturopathy is good, right? They've got an injury, chiro, physio, osteo, there's a whole ton of different things, right? It's that practitioner mindset. How can I heal the body? How can I work with that? Versus a business mindset. How do I market more to get people in the door, right? Because no use having a practice, that's great, but there's no people in there. That doesn't do you too good because you can't heal anyone, right? Now, I reckon the reason number 2 is what I call the sympathy syndrome. And you may be suffering with this. I'd easily do it for nothing just to help people. Money's no good, in exchange for healing services. And this happens often. I used to be that person. Don't worry, just come and see me and, I'll spend 30 minutes with you. 30 minutes ends up at like 2 hours later, and, then it just becomes this whole situation of uneasiness because you're spending all this time and they're really not putting the effort in. And number 3, I think, is a really interesting component is that, as a practitioner, you're not really, understanding what's going on. Why? Because they just didn't teach this when you were doing your courses. Have you noticed? Usually the business component is like the smallest component. You spend 4 or 5 years at university, learning a particular, healing modality. And out of that, there's probably, you're lucky if there's going to be a week or 2 where it comes to business. So you're not taught. So it's not your fault. That's just the way it is. I think these are the reasons. So let me give you some solutions, right? So you can understand what you need to do to have a successful practice. Now, step number 1 is it's about shifting your thinking. In other words, I want you to think that in order for you to be a practitioner, you need to put your practitioner hat on, right? I was going to say practitioner hair, but no hair here. Your practitioner hat on. What do I need to do in order to help that person? Now, when you're running a business, you need to take that off and grab your business hat. Here you go. What do I need to do to run this practice? And here's a little tip. If it's something that you don't want to do, get somebody else that can do that for you. You'd be surprised how many people would love to be in a business like that are really good at business, but unfortunately they're not good practitioners, so it makes a really good connection. Now, number 2 is, you have to understand is what happens to your patients if you're not really good at business. Sooner or later, your business is going to close down and you're not going to be able to treat anyone. Now, I know what you may be thinking, I'll just do it from home. Yeah, but how does that work with patients? What happens if, you're just not making the money because people can't come and see you, or even if they come and see you at home, you haven't got any, database follow-up or marketing or referral strategies. Sooner or later, you're just going to run out of clients, right? Because they're not just going to come out of the woodwork. Just imagine for a second, even if you're a referral-based business, if people stop referring because they move from the area, they're no longer needing your services, they've found somebody else, well, then what? Do you see? So it's important not to be selfish from that perspective. Well, if I close down, so what? I'll find something else. How about what happens to your patients? With me, with my clients, I've got a relationship. And I can tell you, it's a friendly relationship, not just a business relationship. My clients are my friends. Why? Because we've got a lot of great things in common and I love them. So You know, everyone, by the way, anybody that says, you know, that emotion isn't in business doesn't really understand it. Of course it's emotion. We're human beings to human beings. Now, and number 3, I think it's an important understanding that you need to begin practicing business. Now, business doesn't have to be this, 4-letter word, HARD, because it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to have the right people with the right knowledge and put some elbow grease into it. And guess what? If you've got the right combinations, things happen. Now, at WBH, or the Wellness Business Hub, that's what we're here to help you with. So we're inspired to help you run an incredible practice. So what I'll ask, if you love this episode, give us some comments below. I'm Psaila, and we'll see you on the upside.